was the best villain in Guardians of the Galaxy Trilogy? Now we have Ronan, we have Ego, the living planet guy, and then now we have the High Evolutionary. All three movies have been pretty good, but which one has the best villain? Which one has the worst villain? It's not which movie's the best, it's which villain's the best. It is a very tough question to answer. Ronan's first. In last is Ronan. It makes sense to me in retrospect why Ronan is a little bit of a weaker villain. It's because they don't have that much time to set him up. They have to set up the Guardians themselves. Now, one could say that just because you're setting up heroes really well doesn't mean that you have to just completely ignore the villain, and I don't think they do, but I think that the movie just takes a approach of we gotta focus our main characters first. The villain, we don't care so much about him, but they do develop Nebula to a certain extent, so I'll give them that. As far as Ronan's powers, nothing really interesting. He's got a big hammer. It seems to be the most interesting thing about him is his relationship with Thanos, and I think that as far as villains go, people remember Nebula in this movie, and they remember the interactions with Thanos, and Ronan kind of just like push him to the side. People don't really remember that. I think Lee Pace is good for what he gets, but for a movie focused about setting up the Guardians, they really do an excellent job there. Unfortunately, Ronan kind of gets thrown to the side, and I think that's why Ronan is in last for me. I'm not gonna do either the Golden Lady or like an Adam Warlock. I could do someone like that, or like, I guess maybe even Yondu for the first film, but I'm not going to. You're not gonna see Taser-faced on this list, okay, let's be honest. We're just doing the big three. And in second, I'm putting the High Evolutionary, okay? Everyone's saying this guy's like the most unlikable villain of all time. That's definitely true. He is a very unlikable villain, and I love how he ties in to Rocket's story. I think the performance is great, although he does get a little screamy at times. I think there are a lot of quieter moments that he really shines as far as the performance goes. The thing that I like about the High Evolutionary opposed to Ronan is he feels a lot more integral to the story itself. He feels interwoven. Like, you can't have the story without him. My issues with the High Evolutionary, though, his powers, kind of lame. It's just like basic telekinesis. That's about all we get. The whole god complex thing is interesting. I like how he forms all these like creepy crawly little creatures. You got pig man with sword, and you got alligator dude with like a horse's butt, something like that. That stuff's pretty interesting. It leads to some more unique villains for that big climactic battle, but we don't really get a motivation as to why he wants to do this. He kind of just does, and he just keeps saying that he does, so we have to believe him. In first place, though, I'm going Ego. Okay, I'm an Ego apologist. I know some might say Guardians 2 is the weakest of the three. In fact, I would say that. Guardians 2 is the weakest of the three. I'm a big Ego fan. You know, I did a whole villain analysis of Ego on my other channel. If you want to check that out, you don't have to, just saying. I think the motivation is a lot more clear. I understand where he's coming from and stuff like that. For him, okay, I'm not gonna kill my wife or anything to conquer the universe, but for him, I understand it. I like his interactions with Peter, his connection with him, and all the other Guardians. Kurt Russell is phenomenal, and his powers feel by far the most unique. He's one of the most unique Marvel villains in the sense, dude's a god. He's a god planet. He is one of the better parts about Guardians 2, which is by no means bad. It's just the weakest of the three, but it's still good. There's something very complicated going on between him and Peter's mom. I think he actually did love her. It's a whole thing, though. Check out my analysis if you're at all interested. And yeah, that's my ranking of the three Guardians villains. Subscribe for more videos like this one.